Is President Obama going to pay a political price for his handling of crisis around the world? Joining me now, let's discuss this. Joining me now is Kellyanne Conway, Republican strategist, and Sally Cohn, CNN political commentator. Hello, guys. Doing okay?
Nice to see you, Don.
Good to see you.
Hi, Don. Hi, Sally.
All right, great. So, listen, Sally, to you first. President Obama is in Los Angeles tonight. He is sticking with his schedule of Democratic fundraisers despite the crises around the world, around the globe, and there's growing criticism from Republicans. Would you advise the president to keep raising money at this point in time?
Well, look, nobody's going to be more critical of the fact that politicians of all stripes have to spend way too much money raising, way too much time raising big money from special interests. So, you know, there's no disagreement there. But the real context here is that literally, no matter what this president does, Republicans are going to criticize him. So we can imagine a scenario where the exact opposite happened, where he seemingly dropped everything, stopped worrying about all the other domestic policy balls he was trying to juggle, and focused only on, say, what happened in Ukraine. And then Republicans would critique him for ignoring the problems facing Americans back home, right? The same thing happened around the border. Republicans a few weeks ago criticized President Obama for not going and doing a photo op at the border. The same Republicans 3 years ago criticized the president for doing a photo op at the border. He can't win.
Sally, let me get this in before I bring you in, Kellyanne. Let's talk about the president's poll numbers, the ratings, an all-time low. It stands now. This is a CNN and ORC poll. It says that the president's approval rating, 42% approve, 55% disapprove, and then there's 3% who don't know. You know, he's not running again, right? So I'm wondering if it's more important for, I'm not sure how important it is for him. Is it more important for Democrats, right?
No Democrat, no president is going to like those numbers, right? The context is that the American people are fed up with the entire political system. And the only thing that makes those numbers look good is when you look at the approval ratings of congressional Republicans, who I think right now are just hovering around like the cockroach level. Like, people really don't like them and really blame them. And they're fed up with the whole system. They're frustrated that we can't get things done in Washington. People should be, and that frustration's getting spread around. But the Republicans are getting the brunt of it.
All right, I want to bring Kellyanne. Kellyanne, I mean, do poll numbers really matter? As I said, the president's poll numbers are low right now. He's getting criticized from Republicans a lot. Do they matter?
They matter very much, Don. Yes, they matter very much. And this is a president who has two great pollsters. I know them both personally. He's beholden to the polls like many politicians are. And when his poll numbers were 70% approval, that's all we heard about, was that he's got this huge mandate and he can do whatever he wants. Look, the 42% approval rating is one thing, but the 55% disapproval rating, Sally, is earned by this president and this president alone. You know, you just did, Sally, as much as I love you, doll, you just did exactly what President Obama does every time he has to answer a question. You say the word Republican at least 12 times. When can you or he just answer a question about policy, about the situation in Ukraine, about the situation between Israel and Hamas, about the situation at the border, without mentioning the word Republican? I feel like it's congenitally impossible. And Don, here's what's going on here. This president has every right to raise money for his party. He's definitely partisan.
It's okay. It's okay.
But he's seen as
he's
fine. He can do that. But he is seen as feckless and absent. You can't be an absent.
I'm not cutting you off from your argument.
People want their president to be empathetic.
There's a concern about your background because there's an issue with the monitor behind you. I don't think viewers really care about that. So let's move on and continue with the conversation.
Let's keep going.
So, Kellyanne, listen, here's the thing. Ted Cruz accusing President Obama of trying to push an economic boycott of sorts on Israel by barring flights into Tel Aviv. Do you agree with that?
I agree with what Benjamin Netanyahu and Michael Bloomberg said about it, which is you sort of let Hamas have a victory dance here, and maybe the FAA just overreacted. And Mayor Bloomberg made the point of getting on an El Al flight, not a U.S. domestic flight, flying over to Israel, and making the point that that airport is one of the safest in the world. And so, look, I respect any time people want to keep other folks safe. I don't see an economic boycott here. However, I do think there's a point. I'll defer to Benjamin Netanyahu. I'll defer to Benjamin Netanyahu.
Let Sally get in real quick. Sally, quickly, because I got to get to a break.
On this. Yeah, well, look, I mean, you know, this is, again, the same situation. You can imagine if the administration, it's unclear even how involved they were in this decision, but if they hadn't acted, and God forbid something had happened the attacks from Republicans that we hadn't taken the threat of Hamas more seriously.
Republicans.
You guys are getting, listen, my producers are going to kill me. So hang on. Don't go anywhere. Stay with me, everyone. When we come right back, President Obama versus Vladimir Putin. Who's got the upper hand? We'll be right back.